Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for June of 2020. I'm Jamie Kale Miller, and with me is Julia Mijas as usual. And we've got stuff for you today about lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, also a COVID degree we've discovered, and the usual stuff about Mercury, Venus, and Mars, which is where Julia's going to begin. Hey Julia, what's up for Sag this month?
All right. Well, Sag, Mercury starts the month in Cancer, which correlates with your eighth house of shared resources. And on June 17th, Mercury is going to go retrograde in this house. So, what does that mean? When a planet goes retrograde, it means it's a time of review for whatever that planet represents. And with Mercury, that can be communication. So, you might have to sort of rethink and review your shared resources with other people and how you communicate about them. So those could be anything from inheritances, debts from the bank, loans, or maybe a shared credit card with a partner. Then Venus starts the month retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which correlates with your seventh house of partnership. Now, when Venus goes retrograde, that's a relationship review time. And in your seventh house of partnership, that's double emphasizing it. So you're really thinking over your partner. Does your partner fulfill all of the needs that you look for in a partner? On June 25th, Venus is going to go direct, which is going to bring a lot of relief because Juno has already gone direct earlier. And so that means that this big relationship retrospection period is easing up now, which is going to be great.
Woohoo!
And Mars starts the month in the sign of Pisces, which correlates with your fourth house of family and home. So you could be putting a lot of your energy on the home front this month, maybe doing home improvement projects. But Mars can be conflict prone, so watch out for having arguments with your family or the people you live with. Then on June 27th, Mars enters Aries, which correlates with your fifth house of games. So you could be putting a lot of your focus, if you play any video games, if you play any, a lot of people have games on their phone or they can play role-playing games with other people on the internet. You might be feeling extra competitive during that time period.
Yeah, it's so nice to move on from all that conflict at home and the relationship retrospection. It's going to be so much nicer after those things have moved on.
Mm.
So we've got a couple of eclipses for you this month. On June 5th, we have the moon in a lunar eclipse falling in your first house opposite the sun in your seventh. And Mars is involved with this, falling there in your fourth house of home and family. Now, a lunar eclipse is really a stirring up of deep unconscious emotions. And because that moon falls in your first house, it might feel really personal, and it might feel like other people are arguing with your emotions or questioning your emotions or your intuition, questioning that. And so that could really trigger some big conflicts at home. And since we're all staying at home right now, I think you should keep a bucket of water to douse the flames and just try to cool it down. Now the other eclipse that's going on, and eclipses do usually happen in pairs like that, is happening around the 20th of the month, and that is a solar eclipse with the sun and the moon meeting up early in the sign of Cancer, which is your eighth house, as Julia mentioned before when she was talking about that Mercury retrograde. Now, the eighth house is a house of intimacy, and as Julia mentioned, it's also a house of monies that you share with others, most particularly debt. And the combination of this eclipse, which is going to be, eclipses are times when you've got to look at your shadow, and a solar eclipse is more behavioral, whereas the lunar eclipse is more emotional. So all of this pretty much adds up to that you are going to have to be taking a deeper look at how you manage your debt, how you communicate about your debt, and the responsibility that you take for your debt, or the monies that other people owe you, and how much you trust them. And it could be pretty emotional. So, watch your behavior around that and try to, get through that as smoothly as possible. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about is that we have discovered a degree for the coronavirus pandemic, which is a degree that was made into a hot degree, a very powerful degree back in January when Saturn and Pluto conjuncted. It's in 22 degrees of Capricorn, which falls in your second house. Now, this suggests that how the pandemic is going to affect you is mostly in the arena of money and the feeling of personal safety. So as the pandemic develops and as we have flare-ups, which are likely, you're probably going to be feeling like it lands on you in that arena. Now, we've made a video about this called The Astrology of the Coronavirus Pandemic, and you can find it in the June 2020 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. You can also find it in our 2020 news playlist there. And this video will give you very specific dates when there are likely to be pandemic flare-ups, and also very specific dates when there might be angry mobs. And you should watch out for that and manage your personal safety. So now a lot of the themes in today's horoscope are in the arena of your relationships with other people, either seventh house themes or intimacy related eighth house themes. And because of that, if you wanted to have a reading to explore these things, then the lifelong love reading is probably the one to get. We loved making this horoscope for you. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next month and all around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.